Apple just refreshed the MacBook Pro, the 14 and 16-inch, with the M5 Pro and M5 Max chips back in March. But if you've been thinking about upgrading to one of those, you might want to wait because bigger changes are reportedly right around the corner, and they could amount to the first major MacBook redesign in 5 years. So let's back up and explain what's actually going on here because the story has shifted a few times. For a long while, everyone expected Apple's next high-end laptop to simply be an M6 series MacBook Pro with a new design. But in March, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman turned that rumor up on its head. According to Gurman, this isn't just a redesigned MacBook Pro at all. It's actually an all-new, top-tier laptop, and Apple is reportedly considering branding it the new MacBook Ultra. If that name sticks, the MacBook Ultra wouldn't replace the current MacBook Pro, it would sit above it as a new flagship at the very top of the lineup. That distinction matters because it tells you two things. First, the current M5 MacBook Pro models would likely stay on sale rather than being discontinued. And second, an Ultra model almost certainly means a higher price. Gurman points out that when Apple brought OLED displays to the iPhone X in 2017 and the iPad Pro in 2024, it raised its prices by roughly 20% each time. He believes the MacBook's first ever OLED display could trigger a similar increase, helping push Apple's high-end laptop further up the market. This also fits a broader pattern at Apple right now, offering more models at more price points. So, we just recently got the new $599 MacBook Neo on the low end, a whole new device, not just a rebranded one, and now we might have one all the way at the top. Now, the name itself isn't quite locked in. Gurman has cautioned that Apple could just simply keep the MacBook Pro name, but he stopped calling it the MacBook Pro in his reporting, instead describing it as the touchscreen and OLED high-end MacBook, and noting that an Ultra label would more clearly signal its position at the top of the range. So with that context in place, let's get into some of the features that have been rumored for it so far. The first, and arguably one of the biggest, is the OLED display. The current MacBook Pro uses an LCD panel with mini LED backlighting. It's really good. I've been liking it for the last few years. I think it's great. Moving to OLED would bring richer colors, a higher contrast ratio, and true blacks. It's also worth noting that every iPhone, Apple Watch, and iPad Pro Apple currently sells already uses OLED technology. So the MacBook is, in a sense, the last major product line waiting to get its turn. The next major feature is touchscreen. The MacBook Ultra isn't just expected to move to OLED, but also reportedly, that screen would be touch-enabled. That would let Mac users tap and swipe directly on screen while still using the keyboard and trackpad as normal. This one is a little interesting because Steve Jobs once argued that a touchscreen Mac would cause arm fatigue. But that comment was made an incredibly long time ago, and Apple has been known now to reverse course sometimes. Third is the dynamic island. The MacBook Ultra is rumored to swap the current notch for a hole-punch camera, and that change would pave the way for a dynamic island like the one on the iPhone. That means the camera area at the top center of the screen would display things like low battery alerts, AirPod connection indicators, etc. It's also another step toward a truly edge-to-edge display with thinner bezels. This next feature, and this one is almost a given, the MacBook Ultra is expected to be powered by Apple's next generation M6 Pro and M6 Max chips. What makes these notable is the manufacturing process. They're reportedly built on TSMC's advanced 2nm process, while the current M5 Pro and M5 Max chips use a third-gen 3nm process. A jump to 2nm should deliver bigger year-over-year gains in both performance and efficiency than a typical upgrade. The next major change is the design. The MacBook Ultra is expected to be slimmer than the current MacBook Pro, and part of that comes from switching to OLED since it allows for a thinner display stack. But there could be other changes that helps slim things down as well. One thing to watch here, so far there's no indication that Apple plans to remove ports like the HDMI, MagSafe, or the SD card slot to achieve that thinness. Apple did exactly that once before, and it was a very unpopular move, so this is a detail worth keeping an eye on. And the last major change here is built-in cellular connectivity, which I have been pining for some time now. Right now, Macs can only get online over cellular by tethering to a nearby iPhone or iPad through a personal hotspot. Some people think that's good enough. I do not. Apple has reportedly at least considered building cellular directly into future Macs, and if that plan moves forward, the MacBook Ultra could include Apple's own C1X modem or a future C2 modem to support 5G and LTE without needing another device. And for those of you who wonder why I do not like using a hotspot, not only does it drain your battery of the other device, it's just not nearly as good of a connection, so having one built in directly in my opinion, would be well worth the extra price tag. So that's what we're expecting right now with the MacBook Ultra. The obvious remaining question is, when are we expecting this? And the honest answer is that timing keeps slipping. For a while, late 2026 looked likely, but Gurman has more recently said early 2027 is now the stronger bet. And the reason is the global memory chip shortage. Apple's supply of RAM is currently constrained, and that crunch could push the launch back even further. One more important caveat, the entry-level 14-inch MacBook Pro with the standard M6 chip is not expected to get most of these upgrades. The features we just covered are aimed strictly at the high-end model. Now, to wrap it all up, Apple last redesigned the MacBook Pro back in 2021 with the M1 Pro and M1 Max models, so if these rumors hold, the MacBook Ultra would be the first true redesign in at least 5 years, and it's exactly the machine a lot of people have been holding out for. It's also worth remembering that everything here is still a rumor. The name isn't even confirmed yet, but, everything's in flux and things could change. But if you're currently weighing a MacBook purchase decision right now, this is the context that you might want to know before you spend money. Perhaps you might go for the MacBook Ultra all the way at the top and it's worth waiting for. Maybe those MacBook Pros that are currently on sale with the M5 Pro and M5 Max get a little bit of a discount when that goes on sale. Maybe you need an Air. Who knows? Let me know in the comments down below if the MacBook Ultra, or whatever it's going to be called, sounds intriguing to you. I know that's an instant buy for me. It's everything that I would want in a new MacBook, but I would love to hear from you. Let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.